Hello, everyone. This is the world famous CB, formerly known as Cheeseburger, and you are watching Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope.
In conjunction with specialized supplements.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next episode of Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope, we have got somewhat of a wrestling royalty in terms of ROH. We have got the man known as, well, formerly known as Cheeseburger, now known as the world famous CB. Cheeseburger, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for being on the show. I want
thank
to
you for
ask
having
a
me, man.
question
Yeah,
straight off
please.
the bat. When you made your debut in ROH, did Kyle O'Reilly have the worst hairstyle you have ever seen on a professional wrestler ever?
Kyle has had some interesting hairstyles throughout the years. He didn't have the worst I had seen at the time. I've seen plenty of bad ones, but he's had some. His hair has gone through a lot of different ranges over the years. He's trying. I saw him recently in NXT. He's been trying some new stuff, so he's working on it.
Right. Now, I want to talk a bit about. Obviously, I did some research on you, and the word that came up and it bothered me a little bit that they would use this word is they used the word perennial jobber.
Mhm.
Now, I hate the term jobber. I'm not really a fan of the term enhancement talent as well. Where do you yourself personally come in with that term? Do you like the term? Is it a term that you have to deal with, or is there something that you can use that's better than that? Because I don't believe that's a fair term for anybody.
I don't mind it because I usually don't like the noise, the like outside noise. Like I don't really like focus on like say like criticism or people's opinions on like my role or like what I present as a wrestler. Like I try not to focus on that. So it doesn't like bother me or anything. It doesn't matter. I look at myself as someone that's reliable, someone that can be put in any situation against any style of wrestler. Like you can put me in with the wrestler that from Japan, from Mexico, from like England, like whatever, like any type of style I can adapt to. Any type of wrestler I can have a good match with. I can take someone that's like super new or super green and lead them through a good match. Or if you have someone that's like really talented, I can have a good 50-50 match with them. Like I look at myself as someone that is reliable enough to where a company can put me in any role and I can excel and make the segment or the match like fantastic.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. And at the moment, Ring of Honor is going through a bit of a transitional phase. There was a time where you hear a lot from Ring of Honor, and a lot of people were worried that the company was going to close down, or it was going to be rebranded, or something like that. At any stage, were you actually worried about Ring of Honor being defunct?
The only time I was actually worried about that was when the final days of when Kerry Silken owned it, because the company was in a really bad spot. Kerry was, losing a lot of money, and that resulted in him selling the company to Sinclair Broadcasting.
Right.
And that was just a case of, Kerry was one man and he can only do so much for the company, as a whole. And it's just a matter of like time had just run out, and he had no choice but to sell the company to save the company. But since then, like there's never been any point where I was like worried the company was gonna like close down or like be sold or anything. There was always those like rumors out there, but like Sinclair is like all on board with Ring of Honor, and they take good care of us as a company. So like they have invested a lot in Ring of Honor, and they're still investing a lot in Ring of Honor, and like. And in fact, like every year, they're investing more and more in Ring of Honor as we continue to grow. So, like, since Kerry sold the company, like, there's never been any like fear from, at least on my end, maybe from other people, but not from my end, of like the company being like sold or going out of business or anything.
Right. Now, at the moment, Ring of Honor has got like a glut of talent. There really is a lot of talented guys out there, and they're plying their trades. And Ring of Honor is starting to gain traction like it did in the old days. I want to put in your mind a few we'll get a few remarks on some of the talent that is there, because there were some guys that went and left and came back, and there's a lot of new talent. So I'm gonna ask you about five guys. Okay.
Okay.
I want to ask first of all about Mark Bennett, because you recently had a match with Mark Bennett.
Yep.
Now he is, as far as I'm concerned, criminally underrated.
Mhm.
In a match, who do you think is more underrated, Mark Bennett or Eddie Kingston?
It's tough to say like who's more underrated. That's a tough like thing to say. Because like they're both like so different as performers. It's hard to kind of like compare them in any aspect. But I mean, I guess I'll have to go with like, Mike Bennett's like super underrated, like as an in-ring talent and as a character in wrestling. I mean, I would have to go with probably Mike, because Eddie's doing some fantastic work in AEW. Like he's a top guy, like top player at AEW, like getting world title shots, like pretty much on every single episode of TV, like getting he's in that like spotlight, whereas Mike Bennett is just coming back to Ring of Honor. He's coming out with something to prove. And I think he's been, proving how good he is his entire time at Ring of Honor since he's been back. Like the matches he's been having are absolutely incredible. And I think more people need to recognize how good Mike Bennett is. Even on the indies, he's been having some fantastic matches on the indies with like guys like Cole Radrick and like Mysterious Q in Texas. Mike Bennett's like absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, I do think Mike Bennett is extremely underrated. I do think people need to recognize like how good he actually is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite.
Apologies for interrupting. He's worked a lot hard on his physique, and he's looking tremendous. In terms of his physique. Does it kind of make you a little bit, does it kind of make you a little bit jealous that, all of a sudden he's like, his physique is looking so good? And how do I say this? 5'8", maybe 170 pounds.
Who, me?
The CB, yeah.
You're a little off, but yeah, I'll take that.
Man, it is so for being on the other scale, where I'm a little bit bigger than everybody else, man. Yeah, and you work so hard at gym and your diet and things like that, and you look at it, you're like, I've been trying so hard. What the hell's happening? What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, Mike's he's in fantastic shape. Like he's a guy. He like puts in the time, puts in the dedication, and like my fitness journey is definitely a lot shorter than his, because he's been a guy that's been in like fantastic shape for the vast majority of his career. Like even points where like he maybe wasn't as like in shape as he could have been, he was still like in pretty good shape, like at least compared to me. Whereas my fitness journey is only about like a year and a half, 2 years old, to where I've really been like taking it like seriously. So I have like a long way to go to get to that aspect. But in the span of like say like the last year, like I made tremendous improvements in terms of improve my body, and like people have been seeing that, people have been complimenting on that, and that feels good. And like I've been just really working on like trying to stay consistent and like keep progressing on from there.
Awesome. Another guy that is not spoken about enough in wrestling circles is Jay Lethal.
Oh yeah, Jay Lethal's fan.
Now,
tremendous, one of the best.
Now, also one of those guys that is absolutely fantastic, but doesn't seem to get the recognition that he deserves in terms of his in-ring work.
I would say I would disagree. I think maybe it's because Ring of Honor. I mean, I could see that aspect of it, because Ring of Honor doesn't have that platform, say like a WWE or like an AEW. But I do think across the wrestling world, Lethal is pretty respected in terms of in-ring talent, at least like among. I feel like it's pretty universal around like among like fans and like wrestlers as well, especially those that worked with him. Like I feel like he's pretty universally like looked at as like a guy that is a tremendous wrestler. Again, he may not have the platform of say like AEW or WWE, but I feel like because he's so good, he's like the fact that he's so good that even without having that platform, he's so universally respected. I think that just speaks to his tremendous ability.
Right. Once again, it's that big company rub, shall we say, in quotation fingers. That
right, like being on TNT or USA or what are they, ESPN now too, or not ESPN, Fox. That's what they're Fox. Yeah. Like those are all super major networks.
Yeah. Now, do you think now Jay Lethal? had that tremendous promo in TNA Impact Wrestling with Ric Flair.
Oh,
You know, the
yeah.
the wooing thing. What makes, in your opinion, a promo like that stand out from millions of promos that every wrestler does time and time
Uh,
again?
it was like, I think just that emotion, and like I think emotion and passion are like go farther than anything. Like it doesn't matter like what you say, like what you do. If you do it with emotion and believability and passion, and like just put it all out there, like people are gonna react to it. And like I think even with that promo, like it was the case of like they didn't really like plan it out beforehand. I think Lethal said this in an interview. They didn't really plan it out. They just Flair was just like, I'll see you out there. And they just like went back and forth. And it just like, it was so natural. And like, they said everything with such passion and energy. Like the fans were buying it. And like, everyone's just enjoying it. It was just entertaining because what they're saying, the words they're saying, the actions they were doing, like Ric Flair is just like throwing shoes and everything. And like Jay Lethal's elbow drop in the jacket. And like, people enjoyed it. It was just like, they had so much passion behind it. People enjoyed it. So I think believability, emotion is the key.
Okay, perfect. Now, in terms of ROH, and obviously, you know, getting the name out there and getting it back out there and things like that. The company itself has got a very, very good tag team division at the moment. The tag team matches are far and above all the tag team matches in some of the other companies. Do you think that's something that is a lost art in professional wrestling at the moment, because we don't really get tag teams anymore? Do you think that's something that I wouldn't say RH has focused on, but it's something that they've kind of evolved into, because the tag team matches are, guys, watch the tag team matches, they're fantastic. Is it something that you guys have worked on, or is it just something that's been a natural evolution?
No, that's always been a big, strong focus of Ring of Honor is our tag team division. If you look throughout the years, like pretty much like at least from like 2010 on, from when like I started the company, like there's always been like a strong tag team division and a strong focus on tag team wrestling. I felt like you know, there's always been teams like the Briscoes, like Kings of Wrestling, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, like Rhett Titus and Kenny King, and then you go up to like people like Bravado Brothers, and then if you progress more, Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. You look at it now, you know, like Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams, Gresham and Lethal, the Briscoes are still around. You know, like people like that. It's like I feel like we've always had like such a good emphasis on tag team wrestling, and that's one of the things that has always like I've noticed that has always like separated us from like say other companies, especially like there's like, you know, there are many points where like say like WWE weren't focusing on the tag team division that much, so that was a different thing ROH offered to fans, like hey, they don't have much tag team wrestling, but we have a strong emphasis on tag team wrestling, so if you like that, come watch us.
Now there was, I can't remember on one of the wrestling podcasts, they had a tournament of the best ROH champions, you know, and they did a tournament and everybody was voting and things like it, and it came out that I think it was Samoa Joe was chosen as the best ROH champion ever. Do you think that's a fair reflection of his work in ROH?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at the ROH title, Joe's title reign is what really like catapulted up to that, like, oh shit, the ROH title is like something that like an important belt in wrestling. It means something. Like Joe like had it for so long, like he took it around so many places, like he made it a world title by defending it against I think Zebra Kid in like the UK or something like that. I would say like it's pretty fair to put Joe as like for me, I would say it would be a tie between Joe and like Danielson personally. But I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. Like, if you can look at it from this aspect, where if Joe didn't have that title reign that he did, Brian's title reign probably wouldn't have been meant as much. So I think having Joe as the best ROH Ring of Honor champion, like, is completely fair and makes perfect sense.
All right. Now let's focus on the CB, on the world famous CB.
Sure, absolutely.
What now? You're the assistant head trainer at the Worldwide Dojo. I
No,
believe you
I am the head trainer and
the
owner.
head trainer. Beg your pardon. I
No,
believe that you did have that you fresh from a training session today, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Who in your class, you get a lot of guys that'll go through the motions and things like it. Not everybody makes it, unfortunately, and
Hmm?
that's a shame, especially people with some passion that tend to fall away. In your class at the moment, are you able to say, I've got 3 guys that I can put up there and they will be okay, they will
Well,
make it in the
are you talking
business?
about in terms of people that have been with me for a little bit, or like fresh new students?
Well, let's take a bit of both,
Okay.
because there's some guys, and I, I
It's
tend to hate the word dislike, but there were some guys that came in there and they got natural talent, and they
yeah,
started
yeah.
training on Monday, and Friday they were already putting matches together. And then you get
Mm.
people like me that, I've worked. I almost took 2 years to make my in-ring debut, and slow slog and things like that. But I'm still wrestling, and those guys aren't. So out of your class at the moment, name some names that people should look out for in the future.
Yeah, we have some like some very talented people. Especially like I got with things going down in wrestling like a few months ago. I got like a big influx of like new students, especially to my advanced class. So there's a lot of like tremendous like wrestlers that we have there. Some of my older students who are currently like wrestling for Ring of Honor, like Eli Isom, Ryan Mooney, who formerly Ryan Nova. We used to have a trio together. They were 2 of my first students. They're like absolutely fantastic. We have a girl named Damaris Dawkins, who's tremendous technical wrestler, like one of the best like female technical wrestlers like I've ever seen. Like I'm not just saying that because she's one of my students. Like she
Yeah.
legit is like a fantastic technical wrestler. And I think like she's poised to have a very good breakout year coming up. Another one of my students, Vita Von Star, she's currently in Ring of Honor as well with the working with the Righteous with Vincent and his group. She's talented. Like she is super athletic, like super strong. Like she's like a fantastic athlete. She's made such great improvements like over the last year. And those will like be like off the top of my head, like the main like 4 I would mention is people like who have been here for a little bit that are like having matches and starting to get opportunities, either say in Ring of Honor or like on the Indies as well. And we have like a bunch of like brand new students. And it's tough to say because you never know who's going to stick around. But we have some like a good crop of like kids right now that are like just starting to get their like feet wet in the world of wrestling.
Okay, perfect. Now, I want to talk a bit about Zizou.
Okay.
Zizou
Good buddy,
Midu,
Zuzu.
the
Oh,
tall, the
hell yeah.
tall, the tall, skinny, naive kid from South Africa.
The tall man, we call him.
Yeah. Now, he spent quite a bit of time with you guys.
Yes.
Unfortunately, his time there in the States was not as long as we hoped it would be. But in terms of his talent, he wrestled Ethan Page and wrestled a few other guys and things like that.
Mhm.
Do you think at his level that he was when he was there at Ring of Honor, he could have been not a mainstay per se, but he could have been a guy where Ring of Honor could have said, "Hey, listen, we're gonna put a bit of the machine behind you, and give you a bit of."
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was like on that like right track where like he was like being looked at as someone like, oh, this guy has like a lot of potential. He's really starting to put the pieces together in training and in matches. Like he's really starting to like figure things out, and like things are really starting to click for him, and like he started kind of like really figuring out the character side of things like at near the end of his time here. So yeah, absolutely. I think he had all the talent to be a mainstay in Ring of Honor for sure. I think he was on that. I think he was on that track.
Yeah, he sent me a picture of you and him, and he's standing in a bucket.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. What was that? That was like
Context.
We did.
Context, please. Context.
I think we were just like on the indie show. I don't know why. He just like got in the trash can. He wanted to take a picture together. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, but there was nothing else to it. He just like decided to do like weird stuff like that. And like, I miss Caesar, man. He was awesome. He was so much fun to have like on the road and be like, he's like my road buddy for so long. And like we were riding the van together, or like in the ring truck together. Like it was so good to have him around.
Yeah, man. We've had some great matches and things, and it really is a pity that his time in the States was as short as it was. I really think he's somebody that they could have been definitely at least 5-6 years, a mainstay in Ring of Honor. I want to now ask you the tough question.
Okay.
Any era, any wrestler, any situation. The world famous CB versus
This guy right here, Jushin Liger.
Oh, there we go.
Right there, Jushin Liger. So I've tagged with Jushin Liger.
Yep.
But we've never faced each other one-on-one, and that was one of my dream matches before he retired. I really wanted to have that one singles match with him. That really because he's my hero, like my idol, like an actual like personal like mentor to me, which is awesome, and like he's a great dude. But like I really wish we got to like wrestle against each other.
Right. Stipulation match or just a straight up?
Nope, straight up match. Straight up match. I don't know, 20, 25 minutes, whatever. Give it everything we got and like just put it all out there, man.
Oh man, we'll give you 30 minutes. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right, fine.
Forget the 25 minutes. You get 30. You get 30 minutes. Just go out there and do your business. In Japan or in Ring of Honor?
Let's say Tokyo Dome. Yeah, in the Tokyo Dome.
All right. Would it be a Wrestle Kingdom or would it just be any
Wrestle
show?
Kingdom. Nah, Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
For sure. Wrestle Kingdom. Always, yeah, definitely Wrestle Kingdom.
Right. So we've got Jushin Liger, half an hour at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. Does the world famous CB go over?
Nah, I can't go over Liger. Nah, I'm not. Nah, I can't go over Liger. Liger has to win.
All right. So what is next now for the man formerly known as Cheeseburger in Ring of Honor?
Right now, like I've been really enjoying being in the pure division with Ring of Honor. I'm loving the matches I'm having. I'm loving the pure rules and the different challenges that presents in terms of putting together a match and like understanding like how to structure a match around those rules and make it exciting. I'm really enjoying that. And right now, like my focus is the ROH Pure Championship. Like that's my tunnel vision. That's my focus. Like getting to the top of the pure division and getting that title shot.
All right. World famous CB, the man formerly known as Cheeseburger. I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. We appreciate the knowledge that you've put forward to us. We would like to have you on the show again sometime soon. So if you give us another 6 or 7 months here, we'd love to have you back on and talk about the end of 2021, and hopefully we'll be able to get through this pandemic and we'll be able to get through and have some crowds, and we can we can hit you up about the last half of 2021 and hopefully exciting things, not only for the world famous CB but for Ring of Honor as well.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully things get back on track. Things are starting to open up, and hopefully crowds are back in full force.
All right, CB, thank you very much for your time, man. We really do appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck, and we're not going to give you future endeavors, but we're going to say, man, best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
Right, this has been Loudmouth Presents Off the Top Rope, uncensored, uncut, and going with the cheese.